This is the Hidden Leaf Village's handsome devil, Rock Lee, and you're watching Anime Egotists. After this, you can do 51 sit-ups or watch all 51 episodes of Rock Lee and his ninja pals. Rock Lee. Leaf Hurricane!
Welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where you shouldn't ask for what's the secret ingredient in our ramen. You don't want to know.
I don't even want to know. I just throw it in every time.
Yeah. You just close your eyes and just hope for the best. It's not the best strategy, but we're selling it and it's doing bangers. But anyways, my name's Alex, and I'd like to think I'd last at least 12 seconds if I was in the Akatsuki.
It's better than me. I'd probably get killed right away. They didn't even want me. And I'm Richard.
That's terrible, Richard. But anyways, we are back, and we love Naruto. Naruto doesn't really get its own videos by comparison to Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and other stuff we talk about, but we still really love and enjoy Naruto.
Exactly, and we really enjoy these videos that we get to make where we're a bit more creative rather than just a list of stuff. So, and some of you might be thinking, well, you already did this.
Which, first of all, why are you remembering what videos we've done? Sometimes I don't even do that. But we've done a video before about what our powers would be if we were in the Naruto universe. It doesn't hold up very well in some aspects, which is why we decided to do a sequel, but with a little bit of a twist.
Exactly. So we're making some slight changes to our original characters, but we're also building our teams. So whether that's the full team plus a sensei or a full team as an adult, we'll go into more detail as we tell their stories that we've kind of come up with.
That's right, because as anime teaches us, you can't do everything by yourselves, and almost everyone in Naruto is part of a squad, so that's what this video is. But before we begin, as usual, just want to say a big thank you to AmpArts for the thumbnail for this video, and really just getting the squad down. Unfortunately, with that, I don't know what your squad is like, so they couldn't be part of the thumbnail. So would you like to start us off and make me jealous with your squad?
All right, well, I guess I'll start by kind of revamping my character. So
sure.
My overall team is the Inoshika Cho formation. So one of the kind of classic, they always seem to be partnered together. My character, for those of you who haven't seen or don't remember, I made a Nara clan member of my team. So the way I've kind of revamped it is I've dropped a couple of my I had several releases. I had Yin and Yang just for the basic powers that they provide. I don't have like the masterful stuff, but it's like shadow clones and the shadow possession and stuff that are needed. And I only have lightning and fire release. Fire release being my natural nature release.
Okay.
So, as I said, with my character being Nara Clan, that's kind of our. I had my character still be on that more battle smart, tactical mindset. Not necessarily to the same extent as Shikamaru and his father. Again, I'm also probably part of the. Eventually, my character becomes a member of the Anbu and becomes a captain of his own squad in there. We'll go into more detail with that later. Do you want me to go over like the main jutsus or no?
Sure, go for it.
So, of course, I have the Shadow Possession, Shadow Strangle, and Shadow Stitching are kind of the big three, hidden jutsus for the Nara clan that I have access to. In the original, I gave myself the overpowered Flying Thunder God. I've decided to drop that.
Okay.
But I do have, for my lightning releases, have Overdrive, which increases my speed, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I looked that one up. and kunai cutter. So it's just adding electricity to my kunai to when I throw them. My fire jutsus, which I use specifically to try to increase my the range of my shadows by adding more light, is the fireball jutsu and the flame spear. And then my summoning is the ninja hounds. I do still study under Kakashi eventually, but I'll explain later. He's kind of like my secondary sensei sort of thing.
Okay.
All right. So do you want to remind them about your
I was going to ask if your character had a backstory, a tragic backstory or something of any kind, but okay.
No, I'll go into it a bit more with the when I get to the team stuff.
Okay. So my character, and yeah, I will fully admit to this. In the middle of the video we did of this last time, I did want to change things up. I shouldn't be doing that. I should put my foot down with things. But I decided to go with two clans, namely the Yuki clan, which is Haku's clan, which is ice. I don't have the crystal ice mirrors technique, but I do have a lot of techniques similar to that, like the thousand needles of death in particular. I don't remember the name of it specifically, but throwing ice crystals and ice clones, because, well, obviously.
Okay.
But the reason I'm not as proficient in that is one thing in particular. The Yuki clan, while not extinct, a lot of them have disappeared because people have been trying to hunt them for their Kekkei Genkai because of how dangerous it is. But I couldn't just be one specific thing for this case, so for the next part of my story, I'm also saying the other half of my clan is the Hozuki clan.
Okay.
The Hozuki clan, for those of you who don't know, Suigetsu, Mangetsu, Gengetsu, yeah, a lot of Getsus, who's able to transform into water, phase through things, incredibly powerful, but incredibly weak to lightning, because I'd like to think I have some type of weakness.
Okay, it's an interesting combination.
Yeah, it's water and, well, water, technically.
So I'm guessing you have lightning release.
No. Simply water and wind. But at the same time, one of the things I noticed was, and I'm gonna get into this later, the Gengetsu, the old Mizukage, he had an oil substance inside of him that helped his clones become, well, oil-based. I don't have that, but I have something slightly different because one of the techniques he has is ridiculously overpowered. And as for Jutsu, I'm taking the giant clam, because why not?
Alright, yeah, that's a fun one to have, because if correctly, that's is it mind control or poisoning people?
It summons a Genjutsu that confuses you with a bunch of different clones, and the only way to stop them is to kill the clam itself.
Okay, there's so many of these.
He told people in the war, hey, make sure you go for the clam. Nope, that's not the thing you're supposed to go for. You're supposed to go... Even with all the instructions in the world, most of these people still weren't able to handle it. But I don't think I learned that until later in my tenure.
Okay. Do you want to go into any of your backstory at this point, or do you want to save it for like the team part?
Sure, I can go for it. So, as part of... Some of you might know Suigetsu, he got kidnapped by Orochimaru. He didn't go willingly. And because of that, the Hozuki clan kind of got shamed because the Hidden Mist Village is an awful place to live, which is where I'd be based. So, with both sides of my family being either hunted down or completely just ostracized, part of me grows a little bit bitter about it, but I still want to save Suigetsu. Now, of course, that means dealing with Orochimaru, which does not go well.
Okay.
I try to save him twice. The first time I fail. And the second time I still fail, but something interesting happens, and I'll get to that later.
Alright. So, I guess I do need to give a bit of my team's history, because the way I've kind of positioned my timeline is my characters kind of become genin about the time of think her name is Mirai Saratobi, Asuma and Kurenai's daughter. But we're actually in a kind of special program that's built to help improve the Shinobi Alliance, or at least build trust among the nations. We get a sensei from another village. So while we are Shikacho, I actually also picked the Hidden Mist. So um, our sensei is Yakino Hoshigaki. So
I thought, I'm from the Mist Village. I hate you.
I know, but well, the fact that we created these without even talking to each other is interesting.
Yeah, but you'd like to think that you've been. Screw it. Just go ahead.
I I mainly picked this, as I said, we all three of us are not members of the main house of our clan, so while we have access to the jutsus, if we end up betraying or something, they aren't as uh, upset about it. Like if if Shikadai or something had left the village, but that's why this program is just, as I said, it's to slowly build more trust between the villages by allowing them to work with ninja from that have different abilities and understandings. Um, of course, being a Hoshigaki, she's a member of the same clan as uh, Kisame, so I uh, I did give her a bit of a backstory. Her goal is, in her mind, the Hoshigaki clan is only known for Kisame, not their own skills anymore at this point. And her whole mindset is trying to rebuild the favor of her clan, is her mindset. The start of our kind of group together. Okay.
I'm not coming back.
So, did you do like the same thing, or what?
No, not necessarily. But just finish her off, and I'll get to my character.
Okay. So she has water releases her nature, uses yin and yang just for the base stuff, and has kind of the normal hidden mist jutsus, the water prison, the hidden mist jutsu, and of course some of the Hotsugaki based techniques, so like the shark 5 feeding sharks and 4 shark rain are kind of her main jutsus.
Right, gotcha.
Right.
Well, I don't want to go back to back, so let me try something. Remember when I said I go to the Sound Village to get Suigetsu? I fail, but but something changes the second time?
Yeah.
Well, that's when I come back. That's when I meet somebody who needs a helping hand, and that's when I meet one of my first teammates, Tatsuo Fuma from the Fuma clan.
Okay.
Do you remember the Fuma clan per chance?
I know the name. As soon as you tell me, it's gonna.
Do you remember the arc right after the Sasuke retrieval arc, where they go to find Sasuke and they find that clan of people who are archers and stuff?
Is this the oh god, which one is this? The smoke-based people?
No. These are archer-based people. The smoke-based people I thought about, but I'm like, that's way too much of a hassle, and all of them ended up dying, so not a great plan. But it's the same arc where at the end, Naruto, Sakura, and Jiraiya are all protecting that girl, trying to get her cousin back.
Okay,
and at the end of the arc, Sakura asks Tsunade, "Can I be your apprentice?" That sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm vaguely remembering.
Yeah. Yes, but anyways, Tatsuo Fuma, we're the same age. I forgot to say, we're about 10. If Naruto and everybody are 12 at the beginning, we're about 10.
Okay.
And he is incredibly nervous because he doesn't like killing people. He's nervous, but he's also really smart. But he freezes up during battle. Oh, and he wants to. And considering all the horrible things Orochimaru does to his clan, which also just makes you wonder why the hell they forgave Orochimaru in the first place, he wants to do something about it, but he's too scared. Weird. So I find him and I say, well, you're not going to gain anything. You're not going to gain anything here, but I'm going to go. And he says, wait, can I come with you? I need to get out of here. And I'm just like, well, what's the worst that could happen? And me and him meet, and we become relatively fast friends.
Okay.
He's also really good at chakra control. So, and considering chakra threads are part of this arc, let me give you an example. Somebody could blind him, and as long as his chakra control is good, he could still hit you.
Okay, so he's a really good sensor type ninja.
Exactly.
Okay.
But like you said, he's super nervous, and he's kind of a camper. So the second someone finds him, it gets bad. But I'll talk more about that later.
Okay.
But that's him. He's not. Once again, he's not our sensei. He's just one of my teammates.
Okay, yeah. Because if I remember correctly, yeah, you. I don't remember if you. I knew you did something with the Sound Village. It's been so long since we did this.
I talked briefly about how when I see everything going on in the Sound Village and I see like Dosu and everybody else dying, it's like I think to myself, look, I hate Orochimaru and I hate the Sound Village, but these people are trying to help him and he doesn't care about them, which also inspires my weapon of choice when I see that the three Dosu squad people have died, but that's another point.
Okay. So I guess for my first teammate would be my Yamanaka clan member. I just went with Inosuke because it has Ino, so it works with the Ino Shikacho information.
Does this person have a boar head on them?
No, but I probably should have done that.
Go ahead.
So they have yin yang release when they get older, and theirs main element is the earth release, which is a bit weird for them, but I felt like it would be an interesting one for. I just felt to me it always was like the Akamichi clan would be more of the earth, but
probably
I just changed it up a little bit. Of course, they have the mind-body switch technique and the mind clone technique. Once we get to higher levels and reach like Jonin and stuff, they get the ability to use the mind-body disturbance technique, which, if you look this one up, it's like a really more powerful because it's pretty much causes a group of people to attack them each other rather than that, and it's just their bodies move without them realizing it.
Yeah, that's what Ino's dad used in the war when they started to come back during the third Hokage's speech.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those later once they reach Jonin level. He doesn't have that when we're kids and doing all that. That would be way too powerful and probably takes too much chakra anyway at the start. Their jutsus are specifically the Mud Wall and the Earth Wave are their kind of two main ones, and they have and thanks to their mind powers with the mind body switch, there are sensory type ninja, but it's not necessarily great. They need to set up. They have to kind of sit there and feel how the chakra around them to be able to locate people.
Yeah, that's really cool, though. I actually do think, in a sense, Earth does, upon further reflection, it does kind of work with the Yamanaka, because especially if you're able to shake the Earth and kind of distract your opponent, it's the second that starts happening, you're just like, oh, here you go, boom.
There's that, and I also had kind of, the reason I gave them Mud Wall and Earth Wave was kind of like, you do the mind switch and then you build a protective wall as you're kind of going to sleep, so you can protect yourself and freeze us up rather than having to protect you.
Right. Especially even with here's the thing. Only one person ever used this, but I still think it could work for your character Inosuke down the line. Maybe they learn Earth style Dark Swamp, like Jiraiya's Dark Swamp, so it keeps the opponent trapped, and then whatever happens, happens.
That's a possibility. I didn't give them too many jutsus. I debated adding another chakra nature, but I don't know if I would, because I probably would have been. I don't know what I would have given with Earth style at this point.
Yeah, especially since Earth style is it's the one everybody kind of forgets.
Yeah, because it's really only used by like background characters, it seems like.
Exactly. It's kind of sad, but I like other ones.
Exactly. So I just find this one just interesting to bring it more front and center and have a change in chakra nature used more in defense rather than an offensive.
Yeah, I could see that. I like that idea.
All right. So next team member or sensei time?
Team member. I saved sensei for last.
Okay.
All right. And I never did say this. Tatsuo Fuma. Apparently Tatsuo means masculine dragon. Kind of weird considering he's a scaredy cat, but I wanted to be interesting.
I wonder if that'll come back into play in one of your stories later.
Yeah, maybe, yes. No, I don't know, honestly. But the next character, Komori Hoshigake.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I got so pissed off. I'm just like, at least pick people from forget it, screw it. But Komori Hoshigake, yeah, we've talked about the Hoshigake are not exactly known for being the friendliest people, and while I'm actually glad in some cases, because while your character wants to rebuild the name of the Hoshigake clan, Komori could not care less.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was gonna do a big plot reveal, but since you've already decided to take that, I guess I just have to say, yeah, Komori is a female Hoshigake clan member.
Interesting. Well, we've had two male versions. We might as well get some female members. They don't even show up in the war arcs, which is disappointing.
Yeah, but apparently Komori is a shorter name for nurse shark. You've been diving before, so I don't know if you know this, but nurse sharks are actually pretty chill. But once you intimidate them or threaten them, it's all over.
Yeah, when I did my diving in the Keys, I saw one that was up under the reef. It was really cool.
Yeah. But while every other Hoshigake clan member is a terrifying, monstrous person, you would think that she'd be very closed off, but nope. Komori is one of the friendliest, happiest characters. For reference, think Jaden from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, or Mako from Kill la Kill, or Chisato from Lycoris Recoil. Wants to be friends with everybody, very happy to be alive, but also somebody who's an incredibly dangerous fighter.
I can definitely see that. I may go back to my sensei eventually and talk just a bit more, but we'll talk.
Yeah, but I kind of know Komori. I know her a little bit. I've seen her around in the village before I go off, but we haven't really interacted that much. But once I get back with Tatsuo, she immediately sees, like, wait, you're not from this village, and he gets nervous about it, and she just hugs me. She's like, welcome. I hope we can all be friends. And she's like, is she always like this? I'm like, I guess. And she just grabs us. She's like, the three of us are going to be best friends forever. And we're just like, sure, yeah.
Which is, really impressive that she has this mindset, because based on the time period you're setting your characters in, this is like the heart of the Blood Mist Village era.
Yeah. It's kind of like that clip from the first Hey Arnold movie, where Gerald says, Arnold, why do you always have to look on the positive side of everything? And Arnold just says, well, someone has to.
Well, it's that, but I could almost see her being a major supporter of, the fourth Mizukage, and I think his name is Tanjiro, kind of coming to power as the
Yagura?
new... Is that her name?
Are you okay? Oh, are you talking about the woman who keeps talking about getting married?
Yeah, like...
Oh, that's May.
May, yeah. And just because they so changed the village over their kind of era, so...
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I just want to see, okay, he's already dead, he was awesome. The third Mizukage, I'm going to be honest, the third Mizukage is the one who really doesn't get talked about all that often.
Okay, so am I off on the...
Yeah, the third Mizukage, I'm not even going to pretend like I know who he is. The fourth one was the Jinchuriki, Yagura, and the fifth one was Mei.
Okay, so so the fifth, so I could definitely see your character having a big part in creating or helping them get, like, change the village.
Yeah. But she also uses what's called a killage sword. Yeah, I looked this up and how it's used. It cuts a little too clean. It's kind of impressive.
Okay.
And one of Kisame's attacks from the games was he would gather water on his sword and start swinging it and jabbing people with it. That's what would be her main thing for a while.
Okay, I can see that. I haven't played all the Naruto games, so I think I remember seeing this because I've seen a lot of the... Was this Ninja Storm or was this a different one?
This was one of the Ninja Storm games.
Okay, yeah. Then I've definitely seen it. It's just been a long time since I played a Ninja Storm game.
But she can't fully escape her roots. As the more damage she gets in battle, that's when things start to get... That's when the bloodlust starts to come out a bit. But it doesn't fully take over because she also realizes that we're there to, like, stop if anything goes wrong. But I'm just going to say it. As the genin, I am fully willing to say this. She is stronger than the two of us. I will no shame in admitting that. Plus, it's nice to have a female character in Naruto actually do stuff.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's a legit thing. So
yeah, but she also likes to pull pranks on people, and she'll say stuff like, "So why are you guys sticking with me? Is it because I'm so beautiful?" And we're just like, "Please just stop."
Interesting. I do like that character.
Yeah, honestly, she's kind of my favorite. She doesn't exist, but she's my favorite, which is most anime characters, I guess. But that's it for Komori for now.
Okay. All right. So, the last member of our team, especially as genin, is our Akamichi, who I named Choshin. Just again, trying to keep the name theme so that the Ino Shikacho formation works and all that. The one thing I did create really for him is that he's heavily favored by our sensei just due to the fact that his nature release is water release. So he gets kind of the almost Kakashi-like focus when it comes to learning new jutsus and stuff.
Oh yeah, that works so well for Team 7.
I know, but in this case, it's just because she knows water release, and that's her sole release style. That so she can't really teach me or the Yamanaka member any new jutsus in that style. We can learn some basics, but not the super strong water jutsus. So later on, so Choshin can't activate the butterfly mode like naturally, like Choji can later on in life, and Chocho can apparently throughout her life.
Well, the second she was born, wings sprouted out.
Yeah. So
without context, that sounds really weird, but let's move on.
Yeah, so he can activate it with the food pills, but again, it requires taking the food pills and risking killing himself with them. He only has Yang release, and that's the one he needs for the Human Boulder, partial expansion, and full expansion jutsus. And I did give him a summon that he actually learned from our sensei, which is summoning a Remora, which is the little fish that swim along with sharks. But in this case, it's kind of like the slug. I can't remember its name, but it kind of attaches and provides healing jutsu for you. And because our team doesn't have a kind of designated healer or anyone with that sort of skill set, that's kind of how we heal. And so I felt like that was one of the nice ones to learn. But of course, Nose Hidden Mist, Water Prison, and specifically learned the Water Dragon Jutsu from Sensei is kind of the big water jutsu that he gets to know.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense.
So, all right, and I guess it's your Sensei's turn.
I was gonna ask, does he do anything involving food like Choji and everybody else?
No, he overall his mindset is actually on like cooking. He likes preparing food for everybody else.
So he's like Charmy from Black Clover.
Yeah, it's like he likes eating, but he likes giving food to other people more, which is like the kind of opposite of Choji almost.
Yeah, to some extent, but I can see that.
Yeah, it just so he's kind of like he always designates to cook. We'll make the fire and set up camp if we need to, as long as he cooks.
Honestly, if everybody had a designated job for cooking, my life would be so much easier. Or just let me do everything, because that's easier.
Exactly. It's once you have someone who knows what they're doing, and it's much easier just to let them do it.
Agreed.
All right, so now it's time for your Sensei.
Yeah. Hachiman Konjiki.
Okay.
Yeah. Hachiman, meaning God of War, apparently. Yeah, he is from the samurai village, and unlike everybody else in the samurai village, he's not really a typical person. He's very laid back and more of a delinquent than anything. But I'm not even gonna pretend like I remember his name. But one of the head samurai said, you should leave, because deep down he says actually you're not right for this village. But deep down he thinks to himself, you're not happy here, and I can see that. But you need to go out into the world and see what you can do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Mifune. It's very much tough love. It's very much tough love, and he kind of needs it. So when he winds up in our village, Komori wants to fight him, and she ends up losing. But it's a case of how is a 10-year-old this powerful? But he looks at the three of us and thinks to himself, wow, if all three of you had come at me together, you still would have lost. But I still would have liked to have seen that. And she's like, oh, okay, well, why don't you be our leader instead? And he just thinks to himself, what? And deep down he thinks, okay, maybe we can all help each other, but at the same time he kind of just thinks to himself, if it keeps everybody else off my back, we'll do it. And Konjiki is not really a last name we hear a lot in Naruto. It's a name we hear maybe twice.
Okay.
And the one person who had that last name had a certain Kekkei Genkai, Steel.
Is this the leader of the village? I'm trying to remember.
I think he was part of a terrorist organization, actually, and he ends up dying.
Okay.
Yeah. So Steel, since it's not talked about a lot, Steel Kekkei Genkai, you can basically manifest steel, make parts of your body harder. It's similar to Kimimaru's jutsu. The one downside being it's kind of one note. So in a sense, we're also kind of helping him, like, oh, hey, we have water release, so we might be able to help with that. A downside being we don't know what Steel Kekkei Genkai is. Some people say water, fire, and earth. Some people say lightning and earth. No one seems to agree except that it's just, well, not wind.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. I mean, I would have probably said fire and earth somehow, but that's magma release.
Yeah. Regardless, he knows fire, earth, and lightning, which makes sense. A Jody knowing three of these makes sense. And so he's kind of like Captain Yami to all of us. Like, he calls us idiots, and would rather be left alone, but he still finds ways of supporting us. And whenever I'd like to say I'd start off the story relatively seriously, but I grow over time to be a kinder, happier person. But whenever he wants me to calm down, he zaps me with electricity. But since I'm a Hozuki, I just turn into blob form. He's like, oh, sorry about that. You gonna be good in like an hour? Yeah.
Oh, God. I could definitely see that. Kakashi would have had that would have brought out Kakashi's like funny side if he'd had a Uzuki on his team.
He does the 1,000 Years of Death, but it's lightning style.
Just I could just see Kakashi poking it with a stick. Like
Yeah, but he also finds a way of bringing out different sides of us. Like Tatsuo, he sees and says, "You're not good at fighting one-on-one up close. You're more good for being in the background, which is good, but you're not always going to be able to do that." So he helps teach Tatsuo how to fight one-on-one with swords and everything.
okay, that's a good sensei so far. Much better than mine so far.
Yeah, for me, he just sees it's like Beelzebub, because whenever Oga would get shocked with electricity, it knocked him out. But as the show went on, somebody used electricity on him, and he's like, "Oh, I've been shocked by this baby so many times, it doesn't affect me as much." Does it make me perfect to it? No, but it makes it so I can last just a tad bit longer, just build a resistance to it.
Okay.
And for Komori, I'm going to be honest, for Komori, it was kind of hard because I feel like she teaches him more than he teaches her. And that's kind of okay, though.
He's more of like the supportive sensei in this case, not the teacher.
Right. But he will still call us dumbasses and get on, and he'll be upset at us doing something stupid, which we end up doing a lot.
Okay. So I guess I'll go back a little bit with my sensei. So I did also, I've been debating this back and forth. I gave her that she's pretty much a master of Kenjutsu, but this is also that era where the seven swords aren't really being given out, and she really wants to earn the right to get one, but again, she keeps doubting herself with the history of her clan and wanting to make it return to what she views as greatness. But she's kind of that stereotypical stoic sensei, especially at the start, not necessarily opening, not really knowing what this program where coming to another village to serve as a sensei is going to work or not. There's just all these things that runs through her head that causes her to be a bit more standoffish, especially when she first meets us. She just uses kind of a regular katana as her sword, not, as I said, she doesn't have one of the seven swords, so that's, but feels like she wants to earn one, and probably could if she went to the village and I guess did whatever they require of it to get one, but as I said, is holding herself back.
Yeah, I can understand that. And you'd say, I'm blanking out on his name, the Akamichi clan member, would you say he would have the most to do with, hey, go for it, see what you can do?
Yeah, so kind of the whole story is, this program, as I said, is to build trust between the villages, allow senseis from other villages to help work with in other villages. So this allows us to take jobs in the Hidden Leaf, but also in the Hidden Mist if they request support. So that's so we kind of travel between the two villages, handling jobs for both. As we grow, I would say it takes about 4 years for our initial team to kind of work through and start rising through the ranks. And probably about year 5, we've all made tuning at this point, and our team is officially disbanded for the program's kind of coming to an end. We've reached higher rank and are taking our own jobs as that. So our team disbands for a little while. I would say the Akamichi clan member chosen is the last of us to make tuning, and he makes it right at the end. And it's all thanks to Yakino, who's our sensei, it really heavily encourages her to go back and take the exam or whatever it is to try to earn one of the 7 swords.
Yeah. even with me looking up what I did, because I also had stuff involving the 7 ninja swordsmen. Even with the stuff I looked up, I'm like, I'm still not completely sure how this works, but we'll figure it out.
I mean, during the Blood Mist Village, it seemed like it was you killed your sensei who was a member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen and got the weapon. But by the time, I think it's Tanjiro is the 6th Misukage, right? Is his name or something like
I'm
that?
about to say, you keep saying Tanjiro. I'm not sure. I
What?
didn't know this was a Demon Slayer video.
Sorry, what? I can't remember his name. He used the
Shojiro is the
Shojiro.
6th Mizukage. Mei's the 5th, etc., etc.
I was kind of close, but not really. So during his era as Misukage, we see in Boruto that they don't seem to be giving out the 7 swords. So it's one of those. Is there a reason for that? But are they already assigned to people and they just leave them in the village when they're not really using them, or what's going on? But as I said, our sensei at the end goes off to try to, at the end of our genin chunin period, goes off to become 7 ninja swordsman at that point.
Right, I can definitely see that.
And this is kind of the time frame where, as I said, my team's all taking different jobs. My character goes and serves the current Hokage, which is Kakashi, at the kind of the time frame I'm planning this out as. He's getting ready to pass it on to Naruto, so he's slowly kind of passing the duties off to Shikamaru and all of that so that they can be transferred. And that's when I start studying under Kakashi and developing my lightning style as my second release is through him.
Right. I had somewhat of a similar idea, but a little different.
Right. But yeah, as I said, I didn't really come up with any, like, while we were getting, we didn't go through too many big, shocking missions. I don't know if your team did or not, though.
Well, the Mist Village, to become a genin, you have to kill everybody in your class.
Yeah.
Well, remember in Dragon Ball Super, in the Tournament of Power, where it looked like Frieza killed Gohan, only to realize, yeah, that was all a giant ruse.
Yeah.
Komori does the same thing, but they realize, wait a minute, none of these students are dead, and she's just like, no, I'm not gonna kill people who are on my side. That doesn't make any sense. And then they sort of begrudgingly say, she technically basically killed everybody. She didn't, but they give her a passing grade. They give her a passing grade regardless. This is around the time they start changing that, because they do inevitably change that at some point.
Yeah, I guess this is about the right point for them to start realizing, if we keep killing off our own kids, we're never going to actually have an army anymore, are we?
Exactly. But instead of, we each kind of have a point where our sensei says, okay, hey, we learned a lot from each other, but I think we could also learn some stuff apart from each other. And that's when I decide I should learn more of the Hozuki clan's secrets, and that's when I learned about the clams, and he has this... Genetsu had this jutsu where he could create these chibi-like clones, and they would expand due to the heat in his body and the oil in his body, and it would just cause an endless cycle of explosions. I don't have oil, so I can't do that. And I'm blanking out on his name. And Tatsuo tells me, hey, you don't have oil and you don't know fire style, but let's try something different, because for those of you who don't know, if ice gets cold enough, it explodes. So the explosions happen regardless, but as it rains from the explosion, it creates tiny, smaller explosions throughout it. Not an endless cycle like Gengetsu, because that wouldn't be fair in the slightest, and I don't know how anybody ever beat that, but enough to where it's a big deal.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea, adapting what your powers are to fit a formula that is almost the exact opposite of how your character acts.
Yeah. And Tatsuo realizes, okay, bows and arrows aren't going to cut it, so he asks Hachime, and he says, his Hachi-sensei, which is what we call him, and it pisses him off. It's like, stop calling me Hachi-sensei. Hey, but he says, the samurai village, what was it like? And he's like, how about I just take you there? And at some point they realize just how much he's grown, and he comes back, and he's not the best swordsman, but he's a lot better to the point where it's like he can handle himself. And as the years progress, he gets insanely good at it, but that takes a long time.
Okay.
It's kind of like that kid from the army that Luffy met in One Piece who was completely pathetic on the first 2 episodes, and now you see him and he's like, oh my god, what happened to this kid?
Oh god, I just watched the live action, and now I can't remember his name.
Yeah, you know who I mean though.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's we all basically go on our own journeys and try to figure stuff out. Komari even meets Kisame, and she's like Itachi realizes, you're not really a bad person. I can tell that. And unfortunately, when she learns he dies, it kind of messes with her. And it's the one thing besides getting her friends hurt that kind of shakes her up for a good bit.
Okay.
Like, he was seen as a monster, but he's not actually a monster for the most part.
Yeah. All right. So I guess my 2 teammates, as I said, our team spent 4 or 5 years together, and we all made tuning during that time. And of course, as I said, the team just naturally broke apart so we could start pursuing our own careers. I served under Kakashi in the waning days of his time as Hokage. The Yamanaka clan member Inosuke served under Ino in the was the recon unit or the sensory unit.
Yeah.
So just trying to work on developing those sensory skills that required him to sit still for such a long period of time to really get full use. And Chosen, I have serving kind of a dual role. He's still active and goes on regular missions, but he serves as a substitute teacher at the academy and wants to just because I actually kind of have a bit of backstory with him as when in the academy where he was always treated differently as less just because he was a side branch and never got the best grades, kind of like Choji, but being side branch didn't get the same push to be that much better, and he wants to provide that to everybody. So, but he also still feels like he should go on missions to work on his skills and stuff. So it's just kind of a nice little mix. We run into each other all and hang out, but again, do our day-to-day jobs as well. So we're separate on missions for quite a while, like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I'd say so. Would you have your characters interact with anybody inside their clan? Like, how would you interact with Shikamaru, etc., etc.?
I didn't think too much on it. As I said, for me and Shikamaru, I'm a secondary clan. I listen to him when he gives orders to the clan and stuff. Inosuke is kind of learning under Ino, trying to develop those skills. She kind of serves as a sensei, kind of how Kakashi is to me. I'm not necessarily a full sensei where I am learning under him constantly, but so kind of that weird mix of sensei and boss in this case.
Right. I gotcha. I understand.
And with Chosen and Choji's constantly trying to get him to become his personal chef. That's how good Chosen's cooking is. And
oh gosh,
it's like you could live with me in the Akamichi mansion, but Chosen's like, I like cooking for everybody and want to, and I like going on a mission, so I can't stay here all the time for you.
Right, I can understand that.
Yeah, as I said, with Shikamaru, it's more of just like he's the head of our clan. That's kind of it.
Right. For me, I guess since I'm part Hozuki, I have to meet Suigetsu at some point, and since I'm a little more serious, I don't really prepare myself for the fact that he's kind of laid back and kind of sadistic. Our parts of the family don't really know each other that well, because my mom was part of the Hozuki clan while my dad was part of the Yuki clan. and we have to fight at one point, and I realized if I don't pull out all the stops, there's a chance we could die. And I finish off the people with ice release, and my teammates see this and are like, wait, ice release? That's the Yuki clan. And Komori immediately charges at me and starts swinging at me. I'm like, I didn't think a secret would be this bad. She's like, no, I'm pissed at you. You could have been fighting with those powers, and we could have been fighting with each other. And I'm just like, what? Yeah, our training matches would have been so much more fun. I'm like, are you insane? And she just sort of smiles at me, and I'm just like, she's insane, but she's also fiercely loyal. So I'm forever grateful for that.
Okay. I like the part that she charges at you to not angry that you kept it a secret, angry that you didn't use it on her.
I'm just like, but you understand. She's just like, yeah, but you don't keep secrets if it means we can fight more. I'm like, okay. I'll treat us to some seafood curry, because apparently seafood curry is legitimately a thing, and apparently it's not bad.
I've heard of it. It's usually uses like a lighter meat fish, but that goes well with the spices, from what I understand.
Yeah. And as for Tatsuo with the Fuma clan, every now and then, because genin get paid for missions, he'll send money back to the village, so they're doing better. And every now and then he'll go back and check on them. There's this girl named Sasume, who was the main girl who they helped during that arc, and she had orange hair, and she was actually kind of brilliantly smart, but I don't know if it's technically a filler arc, but it might as well be in some areas.
I mean, Naruto, the show that had at least 200 plus episodes of filler, so
in this arc's defense, it did have Sakura saying at the end to Tsunade, I want to be your apprentice. That at least has some moments that save it from being completely filler.
True, but if I remember correctly, in the manga, it's technically the Sasuke retrieval mission finishes and then Naruto leaves the village. In the manga is how it goes. So
yeah. But I wanted to do something different, and so I'm just like, let's just consider that canon, and then Naruto leaves. No Bakochu Beetle stuff, no Curry of Life, despite the fact that I love that arc for all the wrong reasons.
There are some interesting ones, because that's where we get more story for like all the side characters, yeah. Which when you look back on it, it's like, yeah, they probably actually should count some of that as canon. Yeah.
But regardless, we go back and we visit her, and she kind of realizes, since I'm a bit more serious, she's like, I can tell that Tatsuo has gotten really strong because of you. Thanks for that. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, no problem. And Komori's just like, so should we leave you two alone? And I just start attacking her. I'm like, you idiot, shut up, please.
Okay. So, I do have my team actually reforming, but under special circumstances. I ended up, I think if I remember correctly, I mentioned that my character was, eventually does become a member of the Anbu. So, after doing some training with Kakashi, I joined the Anbu and start serving as just a regular team member. And over a year or two, I gained strength and prestige for doing really well on those missions, and get the chance to form my own Anbu team. So I actually choose to reform my original genin team. So I bring in Chosen and Inosuke in to form a whole as my trio of Anbu. And so I still wear a wolf mask. It's kind of the stereotypical one, but it's the one I wear. Inosuke wears a boar mask. I've changed that because it was originally an eagle, but I like the boar mask here in this case. And Chosen gets a special mask formed because they all seem to be kind of mammals or birds. He gets a shark mask to honor our sensei and for what she did for us, and that's how he does his.
That's really sweet. I like that.
And one of our missions takes us into the Hidden Mist, where we run into our sensei. We unfortunately in this case we are having to hide our identity. She kind of knows it's us, but we can't officially reveal it because we're on a top secret mission. But we do find out that she has passed the exam to become a 7 Ninja Swordsman and got access to Nubari is the ones.
The sewing needle.
Yeah, I was like, that one's one of the ones that I like, and it's not used that
It's
much.
so much fun in Shinobi Strikers. I used it for the longest time.
Yeah, she kind of at first wanted Samihara just because, again, she viewed it at the start of being part of her redemption for her clan and all that, but it really didn't match well with her. She has a lot of chakra, but it just wasn't what she needed, and she grew to accept that, and that's how she learned to fight more with a point, more of a almost a fencing style of fighting where it's using the point rather than the blade.
Right, I can understand that. Oh wow, I'm kind of realizing under all that I kind of forgot about my weapon.
Okay.
I don't know the proper way to pronounce this, but a shamisen.
Shamisen. Okay.
Do you know the little guitar? You know the little guitar, like the instrument.
Yeah.
After seeing everything going on in the Sound Village, I get an idea, and I pull Tatsuo aside. I'm like, hey, I pull everyone aside. I'm like, hey, do you think you could make a weapon out of anything? It's just like, well, our sensei's steel, so yeah, we might be able to do something. And I buy a shamisen just because I like the way it sounds. I'm just like, okay, what about this? And because I took this idea from Gintama, because there's someone who uses that. They use the shamisen as a sheath for their sword. He's actually a really awesome character. But I also incorporate sound into the genjutsu. If you can't get it out of the sound, you can't find the clam fast enough, the sounds I play will drive you insane.
Interesting. That's a lethal combination, that's for sure.
Yeah. I wanted the sound to make sense this time, because in the last video I was just like, no, this isn't making a lot of sense now that I'm coming to think about it. And I'm like, oh, wait, let's just do this. Is it brutal? Yes, but we're also hit and miss ninja. What do you expect?
Yeah, and you're in that peak, as I said earlier, that kind of peak era where the Blood Mist is probably starting to change, but you're still notorious for among the villages.
Yeah, but I'd say the point where we change is against Team Guy. We all end up going up against Team Guy.
Okay, so is this just like both sides on a mission kind of thing, or?
Yeah, basically, yes. Yes. And the main I had Komori and Tenten being friends because Tenten would just be so confused at this happy, chipper, bizarre person. Kind of like every episode of the Rock Lee show where she's like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Why is this the show I'm getting screen time in? But they would become incredibly close.
Okay. I can... Okay, so... It took me... I was like... Oh, then I realized it was what you said, which was the Rock Lee show.
Yeah, and we kind of learned from Rock Lee and Guy the mentality of, sure, you've been weak at some point, but you can never give up. And even with everything we've gone through, we still find a reason to smile. Well, and that's sort of the thing we go into with. And Tatsuo can even learn from Neji how to be a bit more analytical with things.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think if we have any real interactions with anything. We're kind of in that weird, as I said, class, because we're older than the Boruto characters, but younger than the Naruto characters, and they serve kind of as our just older clansmen most of the time.
Can I add something to both of our teams?
Okay.
Nobody on either of our squads' hair gets ruined by Boruto.
No, my character has the stereotypical like black hair with it's pulled back in a spiky ponytail, and it doesn't change.
I just wanted to put that out there because I'm like, I don't want to imagine how they could ruin our hairstyles. I'm like, oh wait, it's Boruto. They'll find a way. They'll do something.
I do have that Inosuke's in the tries working part-time when he's off Ombu duty in the Yamanaka flower shop, and it's like a bull in a china shop. He he gets thrown out by Ino. Just that's how bad a job he does.
There's an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds where Jack gets multiple part-time jobs. It ends the same way.
It's one of those. I think he's trying to save up for something. I don't know what. Maybe a new weapon or I don't know. He's saving up for some reason.
Yeah, but back to your idea of the Anbu, would your part of the Anbu be a lot more less toxic and more useful?
Yeah, we serve technically under Naruto, but we're because of my connections with Kakashi, even in his retirement, we serve as kind of his personal unit. We go on the special missions that can't go through the main village, even in Anbu. So, like the mission I had in mind for us, where we reunite with our sensei, is that we received word that a rogue ninja from the Hidden Mist has stolen Kuba Toawari, which is the axe and hammer one, and is using it kind of as a bandit going on the border between some different several of the villages, trying to just make money and build a bandit following. And word dispatched from the Hidden Leaf and run into our sensei, who's trying to retrieve it as well.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I had a somewhat similar idea, but since once again I was actually thinking about Mist Village, Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, before you decide I'm going to take a Hoshigake as my squad leader. But I had the idea of maybe I actually want, because Mangetsu was part of the Seven Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist before he was killed. So I think to myself, okay, maybe becoming one of those could help the Hozuki clan return its fame in some sense. And as time progresses and I see just everything my friends and I are going through, I think to myself, you know what? I don't think I need that. And Komori's like, yeah, we'll form our own Seven Ninja Swordsmen. I'm like, there are only three of us. We'll call ourselves the Three Ninja Swordsmen. I don't think that works. The Taka? I don't think so. Heavy? Try again. We'll come up with something else.
What we so I'm just trying to think if there's anything more really I have at this point. Do you have anything?
Apparently there's a technique called the mist rain, in which apparent Tatsuo learns this, and apparently it means it's a rain that sucks the chakra out of people. It stopped a Naruto Rasengan from Shippuden.
Okay.
And Tatsuo learns this. He's like, well, I have been working on one technique. Let's see what I can do. And he does it. And I'm just like, how the hell did you learn how to do this? He's just like, I've just been studying up. And I'm just like, that's terrifying, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, we have like some of the normal what is it, human yo-yo techniques
Right.
and stuff that the Shikacho provides, but trying to think if we have any like special ones besides that. It's kind of, we use our normal Shikacho formations. We try to adapt them to the situation as best we can.
Well, if you have an ultimate technique, I guess I should too.
Okay.
Hey, Tatsuo fires arrows and traps them, because apparently once those chakra threads are around you, you can't cut them without a very specific type of weapon. He traps them. I fire ice from my finger, because apparently you can do that. That knocks them loopy, and then finally all of us charge in and slice them apart. And then Komori, we have to hold her back at some point, because she's just like, come on, let's keep fighting. I'm like, no, we won already. That's it. I'm done. And she's just like, okay, let's go home. Who's paying for curry today? And I'm just like, Sensei? Hachi Sensei, please. And then he'll knock me out with lightning.
I could see him opening his purse. It's like it's almost identical to Naruto's, but it's oh god, I don't know. So it's just a different colored toad money bag.
Works for me. And then he and Naruto see this, and they immediately are just like, nice.
Actually, I did forget one thing about how my sensei, during one of our missions when we are genin, our sensei enters the bloodlust for the first time. She's, as I said, very kind of stoic and in control, and I didn't come up with a reason for it, but it's just like a very intense fight, and it leads to the bloodlust activating, and she easily defeats the person that while in that state, but almost turns on us. It takes all of her self-control to gain back, and for a while that actually kind of sours our relationship, and we almost disband as genin because of it. It's that bad for a while.
Since we both have Hoshigake people, how do they interact?
Well, since my character is very stoic, I would say, and more of the serious one, it's just like, but it'd be about the same age. That's the weird thing, wouldn't
Well,
it?
if we're 10 at the start of Naruto, at some point, yeah.
Well, no. My sensei would be about that same era, because again, remember, I'm in between the two series.
Right.
So
I feel like she wouldn't. I feel like Komori would not change that much. She'd still be very excitable as time went on.
I have a feeling like they actually do. Like if we go to the hidden Mist Village, they actually hang out and are good friends. Just it's one of those like opposites almost attract. We've got the very stoic one and the very almost silly one.
Yeah, so they have a Kakashi and Guy dynamic.
Exactly.
Except not nearly as hilarious, because I don't know if anybody tops that.
No, they're both just, and I'd say that at the point, I guess, when mine is going on, they're both recognized as very powerful, well-known shinobi of the Hidden Mist.
Right. And I'm glad we did stuff with the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, because I did not understand anything that went on with that in Boruto. And apparently it was completely filler, so I don't know.
Yeah, the cousins of people who betrayed the village before tried to take the swords. That's about all you need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'd like to think that our trio would be nice at some point, and apparently Hachi would be like, hey, you dumbasses are starting a club similar to the Seven Ninja Swordsmen. You think you guys still aren't that great at swordplay, even though we've gotten better. She's like, and he's like, and I'm stuck with you at this point. If you guys die, that looks bad on me. And he's like, it's basically his way of saying, I'm stuck. You idiots are stuck with me forever.
Do you all have? I'm trying to remember if you've mentioned this before. Do you all fight the same way with swords, or is it one of those like you each kind of learn a different almost style of how you fight with swords?
Hachi is very much it's skill, so he's very much just take everybody out as fast as possible. Well, Komori, she does it more to incapacitate people rather than anything. And Tetsuo is very much very much precision strikes, like very dangerous afterwards. And I feel like I'm very much I think to myself, I could finish you off. And in some cases, I'm good with swords, but I'd much rather just finish you off in any other way. Just because deep down, as time grows, I'm kind of like, I kind of want to see how exciting this can get. Like, the more a battle goes on, the more excited I get, and I'm just like, finally, a worthy opponent. This is fun. But it doesn't go into bloodlust category.
It's more of like almost a Goku way of looking at fighting.
Right, and with my shamisen, I never play the same song twice. So I'm just like, what type of song am I gonna play for you today? Hey, and Komori's like, ooh, a song I can sing for you, and we're all like, no, that's okay, that's okay.
She doesn't have a great singing voice, but thinks she has the most beautiful voice.
We think at first it starts off like that, and then she finally starts singing, and it's like, it's not even that bad. it's just an average singing voice, but the whole time we hype it up like it's terrible. She starts and it's just like, oh, it's not bad, but it's kind of distracting me.
I could almost see it being one of those things that what she sings sounds almost beautiful, but then when you start listening to like what the lyrics are, it's like very inappropriate.
Yeah, I could see that. It's just they're all this horrible things about about fights. It's just like, what in the world is happening? This does not go with my beautiful music at all.
She went to karaoke night and changed the lyrics in a song, and not only it was just her by herself, but not only is she banned, but your entire team was banned from that karaoke bar.
I feel like she starts singing and Tetsuo just takes the arrows and just plunges them into his ears. He's like, oh, that's actually better. Or he starts bleeding out. It's like, yeah, we need to get you to Lady Tsunade, like, now. But I don't know. Oh, I'd like to think that our characters are good. Like, I'm gonna be honest, the Fuma clan specifically, I had nothing for in this video, but I like the stuff I came up with, and just the fact that we like keep up with and visit them and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that we took somewhat different strategies. I mean, although we did have the Utsugaki clan both.
I blame you more for that, but okay.
Yeah, well, we made it work in different ways, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, in all honesty, we did do that.
Yeah. But do you have any more things you want to talk about on these characters for now, or?
No, and I'm sad because I really like these characters.
Well, I mean, if this video does well, we could always do a sequel where we talk about some of the missions we have these characters go on. But
I can do that. And even if this video doesn't do well, I'll probably still want to do that.
Yeah, I agree. It'll take me a while because I want to go into detail about it. But
yeah. And plus, the next we create our own this or create our own that video, I don't want it to be Naruto. I want it to be maybe something else we've talked about on the channel.
Or something we haven't talked too much about at all. So
sure, I guess.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah. But any last things you want to add? Any summaries or conclusion paragraphs or anything?
No, we kind of covered everything I had at this point.
Yeah. But anyways, my squad. And oh wow, I forgot I gave myself a name. Keigetsu Hozuki. Apparently it means blessed moon, which is the furthest thing from me, but okay.
I did not, and I don't really want to try to figure out a Shikadai or Shikamaru or something. Yeah.
Richard Nara. Perfect. Doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah, my mother married out of the clan and into someone from the US randomly.
Anyways, he's a Hozuki, a Hoshigake, a Fume, and a Konjiki. 4 people who really shouldn't be together and all have things that should make them want to give up, but they don't because they meet each other. But you could also argue as they grow closer, they still shouldn't be friends because we're just a mess.
Yeah. And of course, mine's the normal Shikacho, Yamanaka, Nara, and Akamichi clan with a out-of-the-box sensei due to a program through the Allied Shinobi forces, having a Hoshigaki sensei from the Hidden Mist serving for just trying to build that alliance a bit more.
Exactly. Are we ready to close out?
I believe so.
Alright, so ladies, gentlemen, and others, if you were in Naruto, what would your squad be? You could talk about yourself, talk about your teammates. You're allowed to go a little bit off the walls with this one, but at the same time, you don't have to get too crazy about it. Like, you don't have to start bringing back Uchihas for this.
No, I mean, I guess you could go back a couple, like, pre-Naruto stuff and have a Uchiha one. Or you could even do an Uzumaki, as I almost said there, so.
Yeah, basically. But you feel free to come up with your own stories for them, your own powers. Try not to make yourself too crazy like we did the last video, so I'm glad this one seems better, significantly better, and just let us know what you think.
Yeah, and tell us what you think of our teams, if you think we should change anything about these characters or how we should adapt. I don't think we should, but...
No, and tell us which squad you like more, mine or Richard. It's mine. But regardless, just do us a favor. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and be good to each other. And we'll see you next time. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you have been listening to Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.